The Black Death, also known as the bubonic plague, was one of the deadliest pandemics in human history. It is estimated that it killed between 75 to 200 million people worldwide during the 14th century. This outbreak had a significant impact on the European population, economy, and society. In this video, we will examine the history of the Black Death and how it changed Europe forever. History of the Black Death. The Black Death was first reported in China in 1334 and spread quickly along trade routes, reaching Crimea and Europe by 1347. The disease was caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, which was carried by fleas that infested rats. The symptoms of the disease included fever, chills, vomiting, and painful swellings called buboes. The disease was highly contagious and deadly, killing up to 90% of those infected. The Black Death arrived in Europe through the ports of Genoa and Venice, and quickly spread throughout the continent. By the end of 1348, it had reached England and had spread as far north as Norway and as far east as Russia. The disease had a devastating impact on the population, with estimates suggesting that it killed between 30 to 60% of Europe's total population. In some regions, the death toll was even higher. For example, in Florence, Italy, it is estimated that 70% of the population died. How Black Death changed Europe forever. Impact on the economy. The Black Death had a significant impact on the European economy. As the population declined, there was a shortage of labor, which led to a rise in wages for those who survived. Many feudal lords and landowners struggled to find workers for their farms and estates, and many were forced to abandon their land altogether. This led to a decline in the feudal system and the rise of a new social class of peasants and laborers. The Black Death also had a significant impact on trade. As the disease spread along trade routes, many ports and cities closed their gates to prevent the spread of infection. This led to a decline in international trade and a rise in local production. However, the reduced demand for luxury goods from Asia and the Middle East had a significant impact on the economy, as Europe's trade networks were disrupted. Impact on society. The Black Death had a profound impact on European society. The disease was indiscriminate, killing both the rich and poor, and led to widespread fear and panic. Many people turned to religion for comfort, and the church played a significant role in the response to the pandemic. The Black Death also led to the rise of new religious movements, such as the Flagellants, who believed that the plague was a punishment from God and sought to atone for their sins through public displays of penance. The pandemic also had a significant impact on the arts and culture of Europe. The high death toll led to a shift in artistic expression, with a new focus on death and mortality. This is evident in the art of the period, which often depicted scenes of death and decay. The Black Death also had an impact on literature, with many writers using the pandemic as a backdrop for their work. Impact on medicine. The Black Death had a significant impact on the development of medicine in Europe. At the time of the pandemic, medical knowledge was limited, and there was no effective treatment for the disease. However, the pandemic led to a new focus on public health and hygiene. Many cities began to implement measures to prevent the spread of infection, such as quarantining infected individuals and burning infected clothing and bedding. The pandemic also led to a rise in medical schools, with an increased focus on the study of anatomy and physiology. Impact on politics. The Black Death had a significant impact on European politics, which were largely based on the power structures of feudalism. The decline of the feudal system and the rise of a new social class led to a shift in political power, as the new middle class began to assert itself. This led to the emergence of new political systems, including parliamentary democracies and republics. The pandemic also led to a decline in the power of the church, which was seen as powerless to stop the spread of the disease. This led to a shift in religious power, with new religious movements emerging in the aftermath of the pandemic. Impact on education. The Black Death had a profound impact on education in Europe, leading to a new emphasis on the study of medicine and public health. Medical schools began to focus on the study of the human body and the development of new treatments. The pandemic also led to a new understanding of disease transmission and the importance of public health measures. The pandemic also led to a rise in vernacular literature, as writers began to focus on the human experience in the face of death and disease. The pandemic had a profound impact on the literature of the period, with writers such as Giovanni Boccaccio and Geoffrey Chaucer writing about the impact of the pandemic on European society. Impact on global trade. The Black Death had a significant impact on global trade, as it disrupted international trade networks and led to a decline in trade between Europe and Asia. The pandemic led to a decline in the production of luxury goods, which had been a major source of income for many European countries. This led to a shift in the balance of power in global trade, as new economic powers emerged in the aftermath of the pandemic. The pandemic also led to a rise in protectionism, as countries sought to protect their own economies in the face of the economic upheaval caused by the pandemic. This had a lasting impact on global trade, shaping the development of international trade networks in the centuries that followed. Impact on art and culture. The Black Death also had a significant impact on art and culture in Europe. The pandemic had a profound effect on the artistic and cultural expressions of the period, which reflected the fears and anxieties of the time. Many works of art from the period depict the devastation wrought by the pandemic, including images of death and despair. The pandemic also led to a new emphasis on the importance of life, with art and literature of the period celebrating the beauty and fragility of human life. This new focus on life can be seen in the development of the Renaissance, which emerged in the aftermath of the pandemic. In conclusion, the Black Death was a defining event in European history, which left an indelible mark on the continent's society, economy, and culture. The pandemic had a profound impact on the development of medicine and public health, leading to new practices and techniques that continue to shape medical practice today. The Black Death was a tragedy, but it also marked a turning point in European history, which set the stage for the social, economic, and political changes that would follow in the centuries to come. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you haven't already, then don't forget to subscribe and press that like button. Also, hit the bell icon so you can never miss new updates from us. Thank you for watching, and we will meet you in the next one.